He walked out in 2020 back to Detroit ties and family, and the story reignited overnight. Terry Southwest T. Flenory, co-founder of the Black Mafia Family, stepped from home confinement into the spotlight, careful and focused. At 55, he speaks with the calm of someone who has seen it all. Today he is building on legal lanes, mostly in music and media, and staying public on his own terms. The hit show BMF on Starz put his past on screen, then fresh interviews and a new documentary gave his voice weight. The interest is real, and so is the shift in how he moves. You will see hints of comfort and style in his posts, but the real story sits in his business moves. He keeps details close, so hard numbers on homes, cars, and net worth are scarce. What is clear, he is active, connected, and protective of the brand he helped create. This guide traces his release, his name in pop culture, and the legal ventures that followed. We will look at the homes he highlights, the cars he favors, and the daily habits that signal a new chapter. Most of all, we will track how he grows wealth the right way and why that matters now. Southwest T's early days and the birth of BMF. The origin story matters because it explains the mindset you see now. Terry Southwest T. Flenory learned early how to solve problems under pressure, how to protect family, and how to think like an owner. Detroit gave him grit. The streets gave him a blueprint. Together with his brother, he turned small moves into a network that would change his life for better and worse. Growing up in Detroit's streets, Terry Lee Flenory was born on January 10, 1970 in Detroit. Money was tight and the power did not always stay on. His parents Charles and Lucille worked hard and kept the family in church. Music, gospel especially, filled the home. That mix of faith, love, and lack built a sharp edge in him. He saw what bills could do to a family. He wanted control. As a teen in southwest Detroit, he and his brother Demetrius looked for fast income. They started small with weed, then moved to cocaine in the mid-1980s. It began as a way to help at home. It grew into a routine, then a system. Terry watched how product moved, who paid on time, and how to avoid heat. He studied people first, then the numbers. Key lessons stuck with him. Protect the circle, family first, trust few, keep business quiet. Move like a manager, track inventory, time, and risk like a job. Stay calm, panic costs more than product. Think bigger, if a block buys, a city will too if you organize it. Those habits shaped his drive. He wanted more than quick cash. He wanted structure, scale, and order, even in a market built on chaos. Building the BMF empire. What began in southwest Detroit shifted into an organized machine. By the late 1980s, the brothers were moving more product with fewer mistakes. They built roles, set standards, and avoided loud headlines early on. They formed what became the Black Mafia Family with a simple aim to expand from local corners to multi-state reach. Growth followed a pattern. They tested new markets, found reliable distributors, and kept logistics tight. They pushed into major cities like Detroit and Atlanta, then reached farther with links to places like Los Angeles and Florida. Terry earned a rep as the operator. He focused on transport, communication, and clean channels. He thought like a dispatcher, not just a hustler. By the early 2000s, scale demanded distance and specialization. After tension with his brother around 2003, Terry set up in Los Angeles to manage the West Coast side. It was a business move at its core. Separate branches reduced friction and gave each leader space. Growth was fast, but so were the risks. Bigger numbers draw bigger eyes. The strategy worked until law enforcement pressure peaked. In 2005, federal raids and arrests hit the network and seized cash and product. It marked the fall of the organization. The lesson was clear. Scale can bring strength, but it also brings exposure. Terry lived both truths in real time. Here is what powered BMF's rise. Standardized operations, consistent processes, fewer mistakes. Clear roles, logistics, distribution, and finance split across trusted hands. Market testing, start small then scale what works. Low profile early, stay quiet while building infrastructure. From crime to hip-hop connections. As BMF grew, so did its link to music. They formed an entertainment arm to enter clubs, shows, and media. It gave them reach, culture, and a look that felt larger than life. Artists got support, stages got energy, and the streets paid attention. Money moved one way, influence moved the other. These early ties to hip-hop did three things. Built a brand, the BMF name traveled beyond Detroit and Atlanta. Opened doors, access to promoters, DJs, and producers expanded the circle. Created a cover, the business side masked movement and relationships. Terry understood that image matters. In rap circles, presence signals power. Appearances, videos, and club runs translated into social proof. It was marketing long before most crews saw it that way. The entertainment push gave them a public face while the core business stayed in the shadows. That blend of street money and music culture was a double-edged sword. It boosted their legend and drew more attention. When the spotlight got too bright, investigations followed. Still, those early ties to hip-hop shaped how people remember BMF. It set the stage for the TV show, the interviews, and the ongoing interest in their story. In the end, Terry's shift from Detroit streets to national reach started with a simple plan. Hustle with discipline, scale what works, and build a brand people recognize. The same instincts that grew BMF now guide his legal moves, only this time with cameras, contracts, and a focus on longevity. The prison years and long-awaited release at 55. Time inside reshaped Terry Southwest T. Flenory. The sentence was long, the spotlight intense, and the stakes higher than ego. What came out of those years is a man who learned patience, discipline, and timing. His release did not happen in one clean moment. It came in stages with rules, paperwork, and a focus on health and compliance. At 55, he is moving with care, and that matters for what comes next. Sentencing and the early years inside. In 2008, Terry and his brother were each sentenced to 30 years in federal prison after a years-long investigation into the BMF network. The case was sprawling, the evidence heavy, and the sentence reflected the scale. The early years inside were a reset. The life he knew was gone overnight. The routine changed to counts, phones, mail, and a small window to move. He adapted, he studied, he watched which habits put time to work instead of letting it grind him down. Key shifts during those years. Structure over impulse, time blocks, reading and planning replaced the rush of the street. Health as currency, sleep, exercise, and diet mattered more than image. Communication skills, letters and short calls trained him to be precise and clear. The mindset that once ran operations turned inward. He focused on control not of people but of self. Discipline programs and a different pace. Prison teaches pace. Patience beats noise. That rhythm shaped how he handled setbacks and small wins. He used programs, kept his circle tight, and reduced conflict. The goal was simple: go home sooner and stronger. He leaned into education, books on business, biographies, and strategy. Fitness, low-tech, high-discipline routines he could keep for life. Low-risk behavior, fewer write-ups, more privileges, better options later. These choices paid off when the world changed in 2020. Home confinement in 2020. In May 2020, during the height of the pandemic, Terry was granted compassionate relief and moved to home confinement. Health concerns and COVID-19 risks inside prisons made the step possible. It was not freedom in full, but it was progress. Home confinement came with tight conditions. Monitoring, ankle device, curfews, and strict travel limits. Compliance, regular check-ins, and zero room for error. Focus, family time, health management, and quiet planning. He kept his footprint small while showing a clear shift to legal ventures. That period set the tone for his public posture today: visible but measured, social yet careful. The Clemency decision and what changed. In late 2024, Terry received clemency. The decision cut down the remainder of his sentence and ended the tether of home confinement. It marked the first time since 2005 that he could move without federal oversight shaping his day. This shift opened lanes he could not touch before. Travel and appearances, more direct work, meetings, and media. Business structure, clean contracts, partners on paper, brand control. Narrative control, tell his story, not chase rumors. Clemency did not rewrite the past, it changed the next page. For a figure who lived under a microscope, that freedom is fuel. Re-entry at 55, a different kind of freedom. At 55, he treats time like equity. Every hour has a job. He protects his name, keeps legal work in view, and avoids the noise that once drew heat. The lessons from prison are now habits for life. How that shows up. Tight calendar, family, health, and business in repeatable blocks. Selective deals, aligns with music, media, and brands that fit. Community presence, appears with purpose, not just for shine. He is not chasing the old blueprint, he is building a new one with cleaner lines and fewer moving parts. What the prison years taught him. The years inside were not wasted, they forged a set of rules he still lives by. Stay patient, fast moves cost more than they pay. Protect peace, fewer people, fewer problems, better choices. Operate clean, if it cannot stand paperwork, it is not worth it. Control the story, speak when it matters, then get back to work. These principles explain the way he moves now. You can see it in how he carries himself, what he promotes, and what he avoids. Why the release still matters. His release matters because it changed the energy around his name. It unlocked legal lanes, encouraged partnerships, and tied his past to a present built on new rules. It also raised the bar. Every step gets watched, every deal gets judged. For Terry, that pressure is not a problem, it is structure. It reminds him of the stakes and keeps the focus tight. The prison years gave him that lens, the long-awaited release at 55 gave him room to use it. Inside Southwest T's lavish homes and properties. Homes tell you how a man lives now. With Southwest T, the picture is clear but controlled. He shows comfort, privacy, and family first. The style is clean with quality over noise. He does not post addresses or floor plans, and that is intentional. What you do see points to smart choices that fit a seasoned owner who values peace and control. His Detroit base, a symbol of roots and success. Detroit is home. That base keeps him close to family and neighborhood ties. The look reads mature, not flashy. Brick, clean lines, and warm lighting set the tone. You can feel the pull of history and the need for calm. Inside, family spaces come first. Think open living areas that handle small gatherings with quiet rooms for reflection. Comfort wins the day. A strong kitchen anchors the home since shared meals keep the circle tight. Expect durable finishes, real wood, and deep seating that invites long talks. He favors pieces that tell a story. Family photos, BMF-era keepsakes, and Detroit art show up in the background of posts. The effect is grounded, nothing feels random. Each item has meaning, not just price. Security is part of the design, not a billboard. Cameras blend in, sightlines stay clear. Entry points feel fortified without looking like a fortress. Privacy fencing, layered lighting, and controlled access protect peace and routine. The garage matters too. Detroit winters and car culture shape the setup. A tidy, heated bay makes sense with room for a daily driver and detail gear. Storage stays clean, tools line the wall. It is functional, not staged. Outdoor space supports family time. A sheltered patio, a clean lawn, and a grill station keep weekends simple. When friends and relatives pull up, there is room to sit, eat, and talk without leaving the block. Key touches that fit his Detroit base. Warm materials, leather, wood, and textured fabrics that age well. Low-key tech, smart locks, discreet cameras, and quiet HVAC upgrades. Display with purpose, framed photos, hometown art, and small trophies. Practical comfort, plush rugs, layered lighting, and blackout shades for rest. The result is a home that respects the city that raised him. It celebrates wins, guards privacy, and puts family at the center. Vacation spots and business pads. Secondary spaces work like tools. He picks places that serve rest or work, then keeps costs clean. Public reports do not show a large ownership footprint today, so flexibility likely guides the plan. That means short-term stays, furnished rentals, or hotel residences when the schedule demands it. For leisure, the goal is low stress and strong service. Coastal condos and quiet desert stays fit that need. He can arrive, rest, and leave without managing a house from afar. Private buildings with controlled elevators and 24-hour staff protect time and safety. Pools, gyms, and in-building dining cut travel friction. For work, location rules. Proximity to studios, media offices, and airports beats square footage. A furnished apartment near meetings does more than a remote mansion. Short contracts keep him nimble when plans change. Clear paperwork keeps everything compliant. Smart real estate habits that match his current lane. Rent where you work, use furnished pads near meetings and shoots. Buy only when it pays. If a market is volatile, keep flexibility. Protect privacy, book places with private entries and secure parking. Keep the footprint light, avoid heavy upkeep that drains time and focus. When ownership makes sense, structure matters. An LLC can hold a property, separate liability, and keep records clean. If the numbers support it, a small portfolio of easy-to-manage condos in strong buildings can work. HOA coverage, predictable costs, and quality management reduce risk. A simple model that suits a public figure. One primary home near family and medical care. Short-term rentals for travel and media runs. Optional condo ownership in a city he visits off. This approach matches how he operates now. It reduces noise, increases control, and keeps the focus on legal work and brand growth. No flashy keys, just places that serve the mission and protect peace. Southwest T's impressive collection of luxury cars. Cars reflect where he has been and how he moves now. Southwest T favors vehicles with silent power, deep comfort, and presence that speaks without shouting. The mix looks classic Detroit, part muscle memory, part refined taste. In past snapshots tied to his rise, you saw exotic flair. Today, the vibe leans mature, secure, and smooth. Top picks from his garage. He keeps a tight circle of favorites. The models linked to him over the years share a common theme: comfort, status, and performance that feels effortless. Bentley Continental GT or Flying Spur, he respects quiet speed. Bentley's pair handcrafted cabins with torque-heavy power, perfect for long rides and low-stress arrivals. The look reads success without acting like a billboard. It suits a man who values control, privacy, and a smooth exit when meetings run late. Mercedes-Maybach S-Class or AMG S-Class. The S-Class is a command chair on wheels. Maybach spec adds space, isolation, and deep seat comfort. AMG adds power and sharp reflexes when he wants more edge. The package is calm at 30 mph and confident at 90. For Detroit roads and airport runs, it just makes sense. Range Rover Autobiography. Roads change, weather changes. This SUV handles both while keeping the interior plush. Air suspension takes the sting out of rough pavement. The seat height gives him a safe view of traffic. It is the daily driver that still feels special when he pulls up. Classic Detroit muscle, like a 1970 Camaro or Impala SS. The sound and stance matter here. These cars carry history and heart. They nod to the city that raised him and to the early grind. When a classic rumbles, it grabs attention in a way new cars never will. Reports from the BMF era also tied him to Italian luxury, like a mid-2000s Maserati. That tracks with his taste for sleek lines and a strong exhaust note. Even as his choices matured, the core theme stayed the same: style with substance. How he keeps them running smooth. High-end cars demand steady care. He treats upkeep like a routine, not a chore, so every drive feels tight and safe. Service on schedule. Factory intervals are non-negotiable. Oil changes, transmission fluid, brake service, and software updates happen early, not late. He uses certified dealers or trusted independent shops that know the platform. Premium fuel and parts. He feeds engines the right octane and sticks to OEM or top-tier parts. Cheap filters and bargain tires do not touch his cars. Ride quality and braking power are priorities, not afterthoughts. Climate-controlled storage. When a car sits, it rests inside. Stable temps prevent moisture issues and cracked trim. Battery tenders keep electronics healthy. Tires sit on mats to avoid flat spots. Paint and finish protection. He keeps exteriors camera-ready with a detail rhythm. Foam pre-wash, 2-bucket hand wash, and microfiber towels protect the clear coat. Many of his cars likely wear ceramic coating or paint protection film on high-impact areas. Tires, alignment, and brakes. Power means nothing without grip. He replaces tires before they age out, not just when they wear out. Regular alignments keep steering precise. Brake pads and fluid get checked often, especially on heavy luxury sedans. Smart, clean mods. His taste leans OEM+. Think factory-style wheels in a staggered setup, tasteful tint within legal limits, upgraded brake pads, and a mild exhaust that adds tone without drone. On SUVs, a subtle wheel upgrade and a protective skid plate keep the look strong and the ride safe. Security and transport. High-value cars get layered protection. Discrete GPS trackers, garage cameras, and motion lighting watch over them. For long moves, cars travel in enclosed trailers with a trusted driver. Insurance stays current with stated value policies. Records and resale. He saves receipts, service logs, and inspection notes. A clean paper trail keeps value high and decisions simple. When it is time to rotate the fleet, the next buyer can see every step. He approaches his cars the way he now approaches business, calm, precise, and built for the long run. This is not about noise. It is about feel, safety, and the quiet pride of machines that always start on the first turn. A day in Southwest T's high-end lifestyle. His days run with order, not noise. At 55, Southwest T lives in clean lines, strong habits, and rooms that protect his peace. The style is high-end without screaming for attention. He moves with intention, keeps his circle close, and treats time like money he cannot waste. Here is how a typical day looks when comfort, control, and legacy drive the schedule. Morning quiet wins and clear priorities. The day starts slow on purpose. He likes silence, a warm room, and a short list he can finish. Light stretch, breath work, and water before coffee. Simple, steady, repeatable. A quick news scan with a focus on music, media, and Detroit headlines. Short calls with family or a trusted assistant to set the plan. He checks messages and calendar blocks, then trims what does not serve the mission. If it is not legal, clear, and useful, it does not make the cut. That filter keeps the day light and focused. Health and fitness first. Age taught him discipline. He treats health like a business asset. Low-impact workouts, incline walks, core work, bands, and bodyweight. Joint-friendly routines, mobility for hips, back, and shoulders. Regular checkups and supplements that support energy and recovery. He eats clean early, eggs or oatmeal, fruit, and a lean protein, no heavy sugar, no crash. He fuels to work, not to zone out. Style quiet luxury with an edge. He dresses for comfort and presence. The look fits meetings, cameras, and travel. Neutral tones, quality fabrics, and tailored fits. Subtle jewelry that carries story, not excess. Premium sneakers or low-profile boots for grip and polish. He favors brands that respect craft. Think soft leather, heavy cotton, and clean stitching. The fit speaks, the tags do not. Business blocks, music, media, and brand control. Work sits in tight windows. He prefers sprints to long marathons. Morning block for contracts, calls, and content approvals. Midday block for meetings, studio visits, or filming. Late day block for follow-ups and deal review. He keeps it legal and documented. LLCs, licensing, and clean books. The brand matters, so he protects the name and controls how it appears. He shows up when it helps the story, then steps back and lets the work talk. Movement, cars, security, and smooth arrivals. Travel is part of the rhythm. He picks the right car for the need. A Range Rover or Maybach for comfort and quiet talks on the move. A Bentley for private dinners, events, or longer rides. A classic when the day calls for soul and memory. Security stays low-key, routes change, parking is planned. He enters through private doors when possible. Cameras and locks do their job without turning his home into a billboard. Food, clean fuel, Detroit flavor. He keeps food simple during the day, then enjoys more at night. Lunch stays light, grilled fish or chicken, greens and rice or potatoes. Snacks are smart, nuts, yogurt, and fruit. When it is time to sit down, he picks places with privacy and service. If he stays in, the kitchen turns into a calm zone, music low, a solid pan, and a quick sear. He cooks for taste and family first. Social media, presence without oversharing. He uses social with purpose. A post today can shape a headline tomorrow. Highlights wins, family pride, and community moments. Keeps private details private, like addresses or travel plans. Surfaces new deals only when the ink is dry. His tone is direct and grounded. He avoids mess. He understands that silence is a strategy too. Community and mentorship. Legacy does not build itself, he shows up where it counts. Speaks with young artists and small business owners. Supports local causes tied to Detroit, education, and re-entry. Chooses events with intent, not for clout. He knows his story carries weight. He uses it to highlight better choices, not old myths. Afternoon reset, adjust in advance. Midday can change fast. He adapts without breaking stride. A short reset around 2 p.m., water, a walk, and a quick check-in. A sweep of texts and email to clear small blocks. Prep for the evening if a shoot, meeting, or appearance is set. He likes to be 15 minutes early. That small gap prevents noise and builds respect. Evenings, family deals, and low light. Nights are for connection. He leaves space for the people who stood by him. Dinner at home or a quiet reservation that respects privacy. A final call with his team to lock next day plans. Short time for media, interviews, or watching BMF-related projects. The house switches to warm tones, music moves from old soul to smooth jazz, screens dim. He prefers face-to-face talks and real laughs to endless scrolling. Weekends, recovery, and select appearances. Rest is part of the plan, he guards it. Long drives with a favorite car on clear roads. Time with elders and kids, stories over screens. A game on TV, a backyard grill, or a quick flight for a paid appearance. He stays visible enough to matter, quiet enough to stay safe. Money habits, clean paper, clean sleep. He treats finance like health, consistent beats clever. Monthly reviews of expenses, investments, and insurance. Clear separation of business and personal spending. Trusted pros handle taxes, contracts, and audits. He builds slow and steady, then lets compounding do the heavy lift. Flash does not pay bills, structure does. What sets his day apart? A few habits define his lifestyle and help him stay the course. Boundaries, he says no more than he says yes. Routine, he can run his day anywhere, from Detroit to LA. Proof, if it is not on paper, it is not real. Patience, he chooses the long play, not quick hits. The result is a life that looks rich because it is rich in order. He lives with soft seats, sharp minds, and a steady hand on the wheel. That is high-end the way grown men define it. Quiet, controlled, and built to last. Breaking down Southwest T's net worth at 55. His wealth today comes from legal work tied to his name, story, and network. Hard numbers stay private, and that fits how he moves now. Public estimates swing wide, so the smarter way to read his net worth is through the lanes that pay him today than the deals that can scale over time. The bottom line, he earns from media, appearances, and made-for-paper ventures that keep his past at arm's length and his brand in full view. Main ways he makes money now. He stacks income from multiple lanes, most of them tied to content, presence, and brand control. Think clean paperwork, short contracts, and repeatable checks. Producer and consultant fees. He advises on shows, documentaries, and interviews that touch the BMF story. That includes background access, fact checks, and on-camera context when it makes sense. Example, paid consulting on a docuseries episode or a credited role as a producer on a street culture project. Paid appearances and speaking, conferences, university panels, and moderated talks bring in fees. Topics range from reentry and risk to brand building and music culture. Example, a keynote at a criminal justice event or a private Q&A for a corporate leadership day. Licensing and image rights. Use of his name, likeness, and archival photos can carry licensing fees. Brands, filmmakers, and authors pay for clean usage. Example, a publisher pays to feature images and quotes in a book chapter. Media content and partnerships. Interviews, streaming features, and sponsored segments add income when tied to distribution. Example, a paid sit-down with an independent platform that reaches a big audience. Brand collaborations, limited-run apparel or accessories linked to Detroit pride and his story. The focus is quality, not volume. Example, a small capsule with a local brand that sells out on release. Social posts and promos. Select sponsored posts when the partner fits. He keeps promos scarce to protect trust. Example, a one-off campaign for a hometown business or a music release he believes in. Advising artists and small labels, quiet consulting for rollouts, image, and strategy. It is not public, but it pays and builds goodwill. Example, guiding a young artist on storytelling and contract basics. Book or memoir development. Early stage work on a written project can include advances. Even if the book is not out yet, development deals pay for access and time. Example, a structured memoir deal with staged payments during writing. Each lane is legal, documented, and built to last. He chooses partners who respect boundaries, then keeps his schedule light enough to stay sharp. What's next for his wealth? Growth favors media ownership, smart equity, and patient bets that fit his name. He has the story, the audience, and the leverage that comes from restraint. Expect expansion in a few clear directions. Executive producing on TV and film, more control behind the camera. He can package stories, bring talent, and secure distribution. A credit as executive producer raises fees and opens back-end points. A high-quality podcast or interview series, long-form talks with Detroit figures, music insiders, and builders who turned risk into order. Own the feed, own the audience, then layer in sponsorship deals. Memoir with documentary tie-in, a tightly edited book paired with a limited doc series drives both sales and licensing. Bundled media gets better terms than standalone releases. Selective brand collabs with Detroit roots, work with heritage labels, car culture brands, or local designers. Limited drops, clean designs, and pre-orders to avoid dead stock. Equity in media and creator tools, small stakes in platforms that serve artists, editors, or independent studios. He brings reach and access, not just cash. Partnerships in live events, curated talks, screenings, and city-to-city meetups with ticket revenue and merch. Keep venues intimate and security tight. Education and re-entry programs with sponsors, paid programs that teach ownership, paperwork basics, and risk. Corporate sponsors cover costs, communities get value, and his brand earns trust. Real estate done simple. If he chooses to buy, expect a low-friction plan like 1 or 2 condos in strong buildings held by an LLC. Predictable fees, clean management, and steady appreciation. Strategic licensing of archival content, digitize and license photos, flyers, and verified timelines for films and books. Organize the archive, then price it right. The common thread is control. He will scale the parts he owns, protect his time, and avoid noise. With the right picks, his net worth rises on reliable cash flow and a catalog that pays long after the cameras leave. Southwest T at 55 shows what a hard reset can look like. He walked out with calm, went home, and built a new rhythm that fits his life now. The release lit up old interest, but the lesson is simple: stay sharp, move clean, and let work speak. The homes, cars, and lifestyle reflect comfort and control, not chaos. The net worth talk fades next to structure, family, and deals that sit on paper. His story carries power because it blends grit with growth. Detroit roots, long years, and a choice to move right. That mix is rare. He treats time like money, health like fuel, and privacy like armor. He knows the brand only lasts if the man behind it stands firm. That is why the new chapter matters. It is a turn from noise to substance. If you want the full picture, watch BMF, then compare it to his voice in recent media. Follow his updates for the steps he shares, not the rumors strangers push. Look at the habits behind the scenes, the schedule, the filters, the care with each move. That is the framework anyone can use, whether you build music, media, or your own small shop. Second chances are real when you protect them. He is not chasing the past, he is building a future that pays clean and feeds peace. Take the takeaway with you today, own your hours, prune your circle, and stack honest wins, then let the rest talk while you keep walking. Thank you for reading, and if this story pushed you forward, share it and keep the conversation going.